Welcome back to Super Hoops Walk. This week, we're talking about just how good is Yang. Queen's Park Doodle says, Yang and Koki look great together. And also a special thank you from all the Blackburn fans for that demolition of John Eustace and Derby. Yang is cooking. We're also talking about are the R's now on a journey, and is it time to give some credit to the co-owners? Plus, who deserves to be promoted? And what is the worst ever QPR hit? This one will get a few mentions, but can you do any worse? Do give us a like. We're trying to get to 100 likes if you can think of any worse kits than that. We've got our full team back with us this week. Joad, Michael and Jake are with us, and we're delighted this week to be joined by a very special journalist who represents KNT Football, which covers all South Korean football across on Twitter. Joel Kim, welcome, Joel. How are you?
I'm doing great. Honored to be with you guys, and this is really cool what you have going on. You must be very tired having to do this for like hours for every single championship.
The championship is one of the best leagues in the world, Joel. As I'm sure you're well across Stoke City and you're well across other teams with South Korean influences. But we're going to start by talking about just how good Yang was. Let's have a look at some tweets. James says Yang, by the way, real quality. Can't wait to see that bit of skill he did from the first half. Jason says beautiful assist for his first goal assist in England. Hopefully there's start of many to come for QPR and Tottenham. And Shook says step by step is a good intro for English football. Next up, Michael, you'll agree with this, is pre-season with Spurs. As Spurs fans comment. How good was he, Michael?
He was excellent. His final product has improved massively over the last few games. I think he's getting comfortable with the English leagues. I think the biggest compliment that I can give him is that in every game that he's played, he's drawn multiple fouls by opposition defence. They kick him, they get him down, but he just carries on, and he's definitely an exciting player. And obviously, on his first start, he got an assist, which can't complain about.
Yeah, absolutely. Joel, tell us about what you know about him. Obviously, we know he's in the Tottenham ranks, but you'll know him obviously for his time in South Korea, and with work with the potential national team as well. What sort of player is he?
Yeah, so Yang Min-Hyeok really is, he is kind of a generational prospect for us. You got to understand the kid's young. He's 18. And so, I don't know, like I feel like in England and Europe, maybe like being at that age isn't that crazy of a thing. Like you have like Lamine Yamal or whatever. But for Asian football, for a young player to come on that scene and to pretty much impact the league like he did in the K-League 1 last year, it was really impressive. And the K-League 1, I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand like how competitive a league it is. It's probably it's arguably the best league in Asia, that and the J League. And in many ways, I feel like the K-League shares a lot of similarities with the English game in terms of pace and power. It's all about moving the ball. It's all about being physical. And so, I do hear from a lot of people like, oh, when Asian players come over to England and Europe, like they have to adjust to the physicality. And yeah, granted, to a degree. But I would also argue that like they're used to that because in Korea, we play very physical, like really physical. And so for Yang to come on the scene, just to set everything up, when he came on the scene as a pro last year, he was 17 years old. And from his first game, he just scored a goal, and he was having his way on the field with people who are a lot older than him, people who are a lot more physically developed than him. And he was playing with a lot of confidence, which I think you have to factor in, like Asian culture, Asian psych mentality is all about honor and respect your elders. And so you would imagine that if you're younger, like you might feel a bit more shy playing with your elders, because it's like, you just have that, it's very hierarchical in Asian culture. But, Yang still carrying that respect for the elders, he still never caused that to be any barrier whatsoever in showing his quality. And he broke almost every record for his age. And what was really impressive was that, he led his team, which was a relegation team, Gangwon FC. Like they were in the relegation season before. He led them by the end of the season to the runner-up for the championship, which is pretty crazy. Taking a relegation team and going to the runner-up and putting your team on the back being so young at that age. And so, I like following him and tracking him through that season. I realized, wow, he's special. He's special because number one, he's quick, he's fast, he's smart. He has everything that typical Korean player has, technical abilities and all that. But one thing that really stood out to me was that he wasn't bounced around. Like he wasn't like pushed around. Like he would burst through national team fullbacks and he would just rinse them. Like he would just rip through them like paper, and they couldn't contain him. And so that was really impressive to me because, he already came in the season with a certain degree of hype and a certain degree of expectation, but he broke them all. And that kind of signaled to me that we have someone like special in our hands and there's a real bright future for him. And I knew for sure by the middle of that season that he was going to go to Europe, and it was just a matter of where he was going to end up, which is why they made him an official pro contract towards the latter half of the year. And then of all the clubs that target him was a Spurs, with Sony being there and Spurs being, a traditional Prem club and whatnot. And so, he was pretty much he almost won the K-League MVP. And again, just being at that age is just such an impressive thing. And now coming to England and being part of the Spurs, and we'd hope that he'd have some opportunities to get on the field and show his quality. And just looking at their lineup, and they're just very injury ravaged right now. I feel like they could have used them, but I think he made a smart move. The opportunity opened to him first. Like, hey, listen, what about a loan? So that you get more time, you can acclimate more to the English football and English culture. And at first, reports say that he was a little discouraged by that because obviously he wanted to, contend at the Prem level. But when he thought about it more, he thought this would be a really good opportunity. And then when QPR, it was shared that QPR had interest, and because QPR is a London club and the location of the club is actually really nice, it's by the airport and not too far. He said, "All right," and he came over. The question for me was like, can Yang produce the same sort of qualities that he did in the K-League, in the Championship, which is a very physical league? And what's impressed me right away is that from what I can observe, and I might break down my analysis, and you can see all the clips of Yang on my X account, he doesn't seem to be like bounced around. He doesn't seem to be phased by Championship players, by players who have a lot more pounds on them and a lot bigger than him. Like he's holding his ground. He's maintaining possession of the football. He's able to do what he wants to do. He's actually, if anything, I would argue that he's bullying other players. Like there's many instances where he stole a ball and then he just knocked people over and people are caving into his pressure and his challenges, which I never thought, honestly, like at this level I would see. I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought Yang would just be knocked to the floor all the time. And so, I think that's very, very, very promising for Yang in his career, that at his age, he's 18 again. He's just a very young kid, that he is playing with aggression. He's playing with confidence. He is playing his game. He's being smart. He's not rushing, he's not making, he's playing very intelligently. He's playing very confidently. What else can I say? And I think it bodes well, and just to see him in his first full-time game, the first half was a bit slow because a lot of the play was progressing to the left flank when he's more on the right. But then more in the second half, you got to see some of that burst and that speed and that acceleration. And then for him to, grab that assist, that was just incredible, and so yeah, it's really impressive. And I just wanted to say, like, from my observation of Yang since he entered the K-League till now, he's never ceased to exceed expectations. And right now, it's early. It's just a game and a half, but he seems right on course to exceed expectations again. So I think you guys really grabbed the gem, and no, the Spurs did not grab him just to get money off his jersey sales. He is a legitimate prospect. He is probably the best Asian prospect there is right now. And I'm happy for you guys, and I sincerely hope that he does well, and hopefully, we have an outside chance promotion. I mean, what an amazing story would that be if he came in and he helped the team get into the playoffs and then go to the Prem, and that'd be crazy. It's not impossible, So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, what a brilliant summary. Thanks, Joel. And QPR gained lots of new South Korean fans, I believe, as well.
Yes.
He's on player cam, and I think when he went off player cam, still stayed on the games. Jared, how impressed have you been with him?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Joel said about Friday night. I actually think Derby targeted him in the first 25 minutes. There was a couple of quite naughty tackles, I thought, that they tried to kind of rattle him, and like Joel said, he just got his head down, got on with it, didn't retaliate, and really kind of grew into the game. I think he's got obvious quality, and I do wonder if there's a chance that next season we'll keep him on loan, maybe if it goes well. But yeah, the signs are great, and QPR, the best QPR sides I know, have played with two out and out wingers, and having him and Koki, it was brilliant on Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake, you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Chair being in the middle, playing off two technical wingers as well, it helps him thrive. So the whole front three, half three, obviously, were quite liquid. It was good to watch and create loads of chances. So yeah, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, liquid football at QPR. Who'd have ever thought? There we go. Thanks, Jake. Joel, we know you're very busy, so we will let you go. But I'm sure it won't be the last time we invite you to come on and talk about it. When he gets his first hat trick in a couple of weeks, we'll
Against Leeds.
bring you back against Leeds. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, Joel. If you watch this and don't yet follow Joel, but you're a fan of South Korean football, then do follow him at KNT Football on X. Thank you so much, Joel. Look
Thank
forward
you
to
for having
talking to
me,
you
guys.
more this season. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Joel.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about some other players then that should be getting applauded. I love this from Jake in his chair. Baller, no, obviously offensive. Yes, so we talked about Michael last week about his lack of goals and lack of assists, and he's gone and shut us right up, didn't he?
Yeah, it's his best game, obviously, this season. We've seen what he can do in the past, and he showed glimpses of that on Friday. But I do think as well, with the way we set up with him in the middle, I think Frey deserves plaudits for the way he set up the first goal. And although he didn't score, I feel like he's vital into having the quick wingers and chairing behind and creating space for him to have shots. So I think if we play with that attack every week, I think we'll score lots more goals.
Yeah, he's more confident as a number 10, isn't he, Jake? Looks that way.
Yeah, well, I said a couple of weeks back, I think he's best in the middle, in the 10 position, because he's not amazing in sort of 1v1 situations like Koki Saito is. So yeah, he's better just combining with other players on the pitch. That's when he plays his best football. So no wonder he's had an uptick in form when he's playing in his natural position.
Absolutely. Now, last week's video, if you didn't see it, was entitled "How Good Was Ronnie Edwards?" And well, yeah, cometh the video, cometh the man, because he went on and scored. Frank says he doesn't seem like a lone player, Joed. He feels like he's one of us here for the Rangers, says when he picks up the ball and starts going forward. Reminds me of what Dickey used to do. Top quality, this bloke. Glad we've got him. I know it's impossible, but we need to try and get this lad. He's different. Gravy. So your season is on the up because essentially your players are back from injury and you've actually done pretty good in the loans, haven't you? Not just with Yang, but with this lad as well.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few comments on Twitter from other fans saying that he's one of the best centre backs I've seen this season. I genuinely think he's got the ability to play at the highest level. I had his family sitting next to me actually, and they seem fully invested in the club. I don't want to get hopes up because I just can't see any way that we afford him or keep him when there's definitely going to be bigger clubs after him if Southampton don't keep him. But he's got everything that you want in a centre back. He does take risks, but I think in the modern game that's what centre backs are encouraged to do. He's got the ability to pull that off. Whereas we've had players, someone compared him to Dickey, but I think Edwards is a completely different class to what we've seen before at QPR.
Well, get him on this show then next time you sit next to his
Family,
parents. Yeah. Sign him up for the last podcast of the season. Absolutely. Yes, Ronnie Edwards, fantastic. Right, well, on this channel, if you've not joined us so far, we've given out lots of plaudits to Marty over the season. We've given lots of plaudits to the players, but one person or people we haven't given any credit to is the owners. And this tweet came through after the game. Now, he doesn't tweet a lot, your co-owner, but he's very poetic when he does. Roses Red was a sweet. We scored for goals and cut a clean sheet. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And that followed a series of replies to it. Callum says, Amit, you'll be the first to say the last few years have been a bit of a mess. We seem to be on a great path now. Thank you for your continued support and investment. It means a lot to the people. And the word thank you, Michael, came out a lot in the replies to that poem. Does he get enough, does him and the other co-owner get enough credit for the job they've done at QPR?
I think we give credit where credit is due. I think this season has been different approach to the way we've set about. I mean, he's been our chairman for quite a while now, and it's only just starting to begin to look bright. I think the appointment of Christian Nori was a good decision by the club, getting rid of Les Ferdinand as director of football and bringing him in. Having a more statistical approach has helped with our signings as well. So credit where credit's due. I think that he obviously has a few people behind him now, and as long as we keep performing on the pitch, he will continue to have our full support. So,
well said, Jake. Jack says it feels like after a tough few years, the club is finally moving in the right direction. Yours, do you feel that as a fan?
Well, I mean, I think just the approach with getting a foreign manager in with sort of fresh ideas because is a great thing, because if you think about it, we've had a real string of poor managers in the last few years. I think Beale seemed to have us on the right path, but I don't think either way it would have been successful long term. But yeah, I think the ownership's been good. And yeah, I think just taking a whole new approach is exactly what was needed, and they've done that. So credit to them.
Jawad, I'm sure there's many times in previous seasons where this question you would have scoffed at. Should we give credit to the owners? But do you feel that we need to give them the plaudits that this season deserves?
I think they've made massive errors in the past. But I think their heart's always been in the right place. They've just had the wrong people involved. They've appointed the wrong people. And at the end of the day, there's been lots of opportunities where Amit could have walked away completely from the club, and we'd have been stuck. We'd have been in a complete and utter mess, because they are still pumping their own money into the club. The club's not making money. The stadium's too small. So I think the last 2 or 3 years, I think they've realised that they tried to build a Premier League team without any kind of infrastructure or the right people there. They've addressed that. The training ground's one of the best in the country now. So I think they kind of realised that if you want to achieve something, you have to build. You can't just throw loads and loads of money at it. We've got young players in the team. I don't know what the average age was the other night, but it must have been pretty young. So yeah, I think things are looking bright. I don't think any QPR fans will get carried away, because we've been down this path before where we thought things were rosy under Beale and then something happened. And I still think the biggest danger is someone coming in for the manager, because if you're another club in that league at the bottom half of the Premier League, he's got to be a name that you would look at.
Absolutely. Okay. Well said. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Right, let's move on to our final bit then this week, the worst shirts. We're doing this because we've appointed the first ever QPR 11. Check that out from last week if you hadn't seen it. So we put this one up. Michael, is there any worse than? Do you like that one, or is there any worse away shirts you can recall?
Do you know what? With that one, I think it sold really well for quite a large portion of our female fans, and it's definitely not a worse by a long stretch. I think the brown away kit with the thin yellow stripes from when Dryworld was our sponsor was the worst. The Frazzles kit is what I used to call it. It was was disgusting. And I also think that the 2012-13 shirt, when we had that thin stripes, but like Jared's wearing there, but with the collar as well. It was just an era of QPR which wasn't favourable, and I don't like thin stripes on a QPR shirt either. So
I was going to say, I've got a good shirt here, the one on the left. This one on the left is probably the nicest QPR shirt. That's the width of the stripes is perfect on there for you, Jared, or do you prefer them thinner?
Yeah, that's the perfect one. This one is probably our worst home kit, I think, just because the hoops are thin. It was a proper like Nike catalog kit as well. You could literally buy the plain kit for like 10 quid on the Nike website, and you kind of associate kits with players. I can just picture Rio Ferdinand doing nothing in this kit. I think this was the Rio Ferdinand kit. The worst one I've got, I don't know if you can see it, this green and yellow one as well.
Let's have a look. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty.
Okay.
And again, I picture Joe Barton. I think he scored a free kick away at Reading in it. Like I just
Caterham kit.
That green one, yeah.
What about these ones, Jake? Jake, I mean, these are pretty bad as away kits, aren't they? You're muted, mate.
Apologies. The one on the left is not great. I'm not a big fan of the gold. It doesn't really work for me. And the other one is not bad, but I found one here which I think is definitely the worst.
Oh god. genuine mashup one. Yeah, absolutely.
Sold out, didn't it, as well? Sold out.
Yeah.
Let's check I've got them all. This orangey one, which you played only in once at Crystal Palace away, I think, because
it's an old one.
Your kit was blue and your home away kit was red. So I don't know which one. And this one, this doesn't scream QPR at me either. This is more Blackburn, isn't it? Either half and half ones, but we've had some shockers, haven't you? Have we missed any though? In the comments, let us know. Thank you, all of you for that. Yes, I can't even remember who the hell you're playing this weekend after it's been such a mammoth one. Portsmouth. Okay, brilliant.
Before we go, I will show the brown and yellow one as well.
Oh yes, please do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my god!
See that?
Yeah.
Oh my
god!
I don't know if you see that, but
yeah.
Horrible.
Super, yeah. Portsmouth, two teams are just they're starting to get their act together as well. So enjoy that game, and we'll catch up with you in the 7 days after it. Thank you very much for watching. Do drop us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.